we're doing a vehicle maintenance facility for a client right now, and they had mentioned, wouldn't it be cool if we could, in your software, drive the vehicles through the facility? So, I brought it up to our folks. They said, can we spend whatever we spend on a steering wheel and a couple of things? And I was like, absolutely, go buy it. And within, by the time we had our first presentation or meeting with these folks, we were able to get in and drive the vehicles through the facility. And it was actually quite eye-opening, because there's some things that you don't think about when you're working on a screen or looking at floor plans or elevations or sections, like how the signage works or how some of the directions work. And we noticed one of the things was, when you started to drive through it, you kind of got a little bit lost and started going the wrong way, and it forced us into some design changes. And the fact that we were able to do that a month or so into design, rather than somebody going to the site and being like, this sucks, this doesn't work, that's worth a lot of money to us and a lot of experience, a lot of good experience. And that's for everything, because we're able to get buy-in from people in this environment so early on. And rather than us sitting here and presenting these three options and, okay, I like this from this one, I like that, I don't like that, and now we kind of have to guess where that goes. We go away for 2 weeks and we come back again with another thing. Well, that's almost there, and we go away for 2 weeks, and all the while we're spell checking things, we're getting this immaculate presentation. Instead of doing that, we just strip all that away, immerse ourselves into our process. There's no secret how it is, and we go right in the environment. And by the way, if there's something that's wrong, or something that's in a place that it shouldn't be, it shows up. There's no hiding from it, which it can be a little unnerving sometimes. But isn't it better that it shows up now than, God forbid, either in shop drawing coordination, or
of
even
course,
worse
when the construction is done and commissioned and handed over? And do you do it for every single project, or no? It's just an add-on that customers have to pay for.
That's how we work. It's not an add-on.
Oh wow!
It's simply how we work.
So you integrate it in your process. It
is our process.
Wow. And does it come at an extra cost if we compare? No. It doesn't.
No,
but it costs you more, right?
Not necessarily. Honestly, it doesn't necessarily cost us more, because the time we spend, particularly in my entire career, it's always, architects lose money and lose fee on projects in the design phase and in the construction administration phase. Doing working drawings is doing working drawings, right? We're either going to be efficient at it and have people that do a great job, or you don't. Thankfully, we do. The design phase is inefficient. You lose efficiency, you lose fee, because there's indecision. If I come to you with a 3 designs, and you don't like them, and I come back and I come with another 3 designs, and you still don't like them, and then we go back and we say, wow, we had budgeted, I don't know, 200 hours for schematic design, and we spent 300. Exactly. I'm going to come to you and say, wow, we spent more. May I please have more money? And you're going to say no, because if you got it right the first time, you wouldn't have had to do that. And round and round and round we go. This eliminates that, because we are literally sitting there in an immersive environment. And if you sit here and say, I really wish that this room feels too small, I wish that wall was 2 feet over here, we have the ability in our tool, you pick up the wall and you move it 2 feet. If you're in if we're in a new building and you're walking through from one space to another and you're like, this is too far away, okay, we move it.
Do customers appreciate that addition that you're offering free of charge?
They do. They do. A lot of our customers love it. We do a lot of restaurants, like I mentioned, and for restaurateurs, it's very valuable for them to know how it feels, how close the people are, how close the customers are seated next to each other. What does it feel like walking in between the seats? What does it feel like for the chef, for the line cook to be able to see what their teammates are doing? We're able to do that. We model all of those things, and they're able to do it and experience it firsthand.
Yeah, what's the most industry that you enjoy working for or delivering projects for?
That I enjoy
Yeah.
working for? I got to tell you, I don't. I mean, I really enjoy building repositionings. We could do a whole conversation on one project, TSX Broadway, that we worked on, but we won't get into that. But that was an amazing. I love the idea of taking something that isn't necessarily at its highest and best use, doesn't look so great, and turning it into something that's awesome and functional and something different. So those are the projects I like to work on the most. I would honestly tell you, though, what the projects I enjoy the most are with, for lack of a better term, cool clients. To me, it's about the people
who are open to new suggestions, new ideas,
yeah,
crazy designs, probably.
Yeah, any of that, or even it doesn't even have to. I mean, we do some amazing designs for sure, but there's creativity to be found in everything, including the mundane. And clients that are open-minded, clients that are, just good people and fun to be around. That's what I really like.
What is it that you're more attracted to? A more profitable project or a more creative one?
That feels like a trick question. I would say both, but there's two sides of me. I am in charge of a lot of things over here, so I would be lying if I said I don't like profit. We've had some very creative projects that we lost our shirts on, and we've had some, not so fun projects that pay the bills. So I'm going to deflect a little bit and say, really, you need to have both. You need to have some projects that are, kind of straightforward, and you can get them done, and you can be profitable, and you can have happy clients. And then you have some other projects or other work you do that isn't that much, and they can help each other. They can balance each other out. So I think you need to have both. Unless you have a huge trust fund somewhere and it doesn't matter, but you need a combination of both to be financially healthy and to keep people happy, because people don't want to, work on storage sheds their entire life. They want to do different types of things. But I do believe there's creativity to be found in any kind of project.
And do you think, because again, creativity helps the company progress and
Yep.
kind of and advance at the same time, a healthy project does in different ways, but it does definitely, right? So in the back of your mind, which one do you think helps more the company moves on to the next level of having creative projects that you can go and rave about and talk about and use for marketing and attracting new business and develop
Right.
even more, or just making sure this is a good project that benefits the company, from an operational perspective?
Well, certainly moving the needle forward from notability, a creative project is. If I go back to TSX Broadway, that's a project that, when we're having conversations with people about work, we talk about that, and they're like, oh wow, that's an amazing project, and that's really gotten us to places where we wouldn't have been had we not done that project. So the creative projects for sure, but I'm just going to put the caveat that if you don't have the other ones to balance that out, you're not going to get anywhere unless you're just independently wealthy. But the creative projects certainly move the needle forward.
So how big the company is right now?
We're about 100 people right now. We have our headquarters here in New York City, where I am. We have 2 offices in New Jersey. We have an office in Seattle, and we have a office in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Do you want it to grow further, or do you think you're at the right spot?
Oh, no. We want to grow this sucker. We want to grow.
You want to?
Absolutely. I believe that, with the people we have, and really the combination of our process and our people, and we continue to, I've worked in this industry for close to 30 years now. And I'm not going to make a lot of friends, but I really don't care. There's a lot of obnoxious, pompous people in this business who really have such a high self-opinion, and they're not fun to be around. We don't hire those people here. They don't work here. We have a strict no ego policy here. So And by the way, it doesn't. You don't have to be this, that, or the other thing. As long as you're yourself, your authentic self, and you are a person who puts the client first and can do great work and all those things, you're welcome here. And I think the combination of that and the combination of our process translates well across the country. So our goal is to grow across the country substantially in the next 5 years.
Very interesting. And what's the greatest challenge for you as a CEO to grow this company and meet your vision and meet your aspirations?
There's a lot of challenges. I think it's, managing helping. Thankfully, I have a wonderful partner, Bola, our CFO. Managing the finances is obviously a challenge when you have a lot of work coming in and you have to get the cash in the door and get people paid and all those things.
Is the economy right for all these plans right now? Is the market right? Is the opportunity there? How do you read it?
So yes and no. I would say, though, it's like having children. If you sit around and wait for the exact right time, it's not going to happen.
No.
I also think that because of our diversity of practice and what we do, our goal, Christian and my goal, was to build as close to a recession-proof model as we can with different types of work. And because of what we do, because of the things we do, because of the way we do them, I'm not going to go out there and say if recession-proof, because that's silly. There's no such thing. But we've insulated ourselves to a degree where I believe we can thrive when others perhaps can't, and that gives us an opportunity to grow right now. I mean, there's a lot of work out there. I will tell you, firms that are only do one or two things are probably having a harder time, and that's unfortunate. No one likes to see anybody in our industry not doing well. And I think that, again, there's work out there, there's projects out there. One of the challenges, just to be honest, is the commoditization of our industry. Sometimes fees can be challenging. You have, especially when economic times are a little, fuzzy. So you never know what you're getting into. You could get into a scenario where you think you're at the right spot where it makes sense. And
I talked to a lot of engineers and engineering companies, and there's one thing consistent across the board with all my conversations with them is that this industry in particular doesn't pay enough. Not pay in terms of, it's back to back. If you're not able to pay engineers as much as engineers deserve, you have to make enough money for you to be able to afford pay. And then the engineering companies just don't make enough money. All the profits goes to construction. And this is the question that I have for you. You have both worlds in your hands. Construction very, very, very well.
Yeah.
And then you chose to go into architecture and engineering, and it's not a secret. Everybody knows this industry, the AEC industry, is not the highest in profitability. So
absolutely. No regret. I never regret anything. Everything gets you to where you are. It's like the butterfly effect, right? Everything happens for a reason. My mother would always say everything happens for a reason. Listen, I agree. It's if I look back 20 years ago, starting salary for an architect was like, $40,000, something like that in New York City. And your typical fee on an interior project was $450 a square foot. Now that starting salary is significantly higher, and your fees for a project are about $450, maybe $5 a square foot. So, with everything that changes, the fees don't. And the issue is that it's kind of what I was alluding to a little bit before.
What is the starting salary for an architect now?
Anywhere in the 50s. Depends. It all depends on who the person is and what their experience. Obviously somebody who has a master's degree is going to be making more. There's no, it's not like a union thing where there's a set.
And you need architects to do every stage and phase of the project. So they are the ones who do the drawings. They are the ones who do the initial designs and overlooks the construction.
I mean, not on day one for sure, but yes, as you know, we are not. Some firms are siloed a bit, where you have the folks over here who design things, then they package it up and hand it off to some other folks who do the working drawings, and they package it off and hand it off to somebody who observes the construction. We don't do that. I've been fortunate enough to have a very well-rounded scope of work in my career, of things I've done, project types and work I've done. And I think it's invaluable to somebody to go and run the phase of a project. When at all possible, we try and keep people on a project, because I like people to know what I really, really like for a young architect is when he or she draws something, I like them to go to the site when they're laying it out. And you have some grizzled old guy and he's going, this doesn't work. And they're like, oh my gosh, all these things I drew, now this person can't lay them out, or and it's, it's not the end of the world, but I like that little interaction, because it forces them to understand that the things you draw on your computer, the walls you draw, are real things. And there's nothing like the experience of creating a construction plan with dimensions on it, and then going there when somebody's laying it out and finding out that, maybe it wasn't exactly how you thought it was. And that's the type of experience that's invaluable. So I believe that people need to be on projects from start to finish as much as possible.
Interesting. Do you think, I'm just going to ask one more question about, the future and the projections of the industry in general and Mancini. And, what are the key milestones or turning points that will shape the future of Mancini that you look forward to achieve? A big project or a major bid or tender, or attracting more people to work for you? What's the turning point or key objectives or milestones that you really think will pretty much launch the future of Mancini, the next stage, the next level of Mancini Duffy?
Geographic diversity. I think we have the special sauce. We need to just start spreading it around. That's the geographic diversity, opening up into other cities in the country.
And what cities are on your list?
We're looking at all over the place. Texas, California. I mentioned Seattle. We started there. Western Florida, Mid-Atlantic region. There's really wherever there's work and there's good people, we want to be there.
You don't do engineering right now. You only do architecture, right? You don't have civil engineers. You don't do.
No, we're not engineering.
And you're not planning to expand into engineering or construction or any of that?
No, I don't. I mean, we do a lot of partnerships and design build with construction managers, and I love it. It's a much better process for us. But no, I have no aspirations to get into engineering or construction.
What is the biggest challenge today in this industry, architecture, or the broader engineering and architecture industry?
Heck, you alluded to it before. It's trying to bring our fees to a place where we can all compensate each other a little bit better.
Prices are up. Real estate is
everything else is up. But
except
again,
you guys, except your fees.
Yeah, and I tell folks here all the time, when we price projects, somebody will do an elaborate fee plan and show exactly how much time, and I say, that is amazing, that is wonderful work. But our fees are only going to, but at the end of the day, we have to do what the market dictates. So there's unfortunately,
and who's dictating the market? Developers' greed?
Yeah, it's always listen, it's the lowest bidder, and unfortunately, there's always folks in our industry, in engineering and architecture in particular, that will come in for one reason or another, sometimes quite low on a project, and it drives everything. It becomes a race to the bottom, unfortunately.
Well, if we can get rid of that, we have architecture syndicates and organizations and
societies, why can't we just have a code of honor that we can't kill each other here because all of us are paying the price?
It's a great question. I mean, to me, I believe the AIA is more interested in becoming a political organization, it seems to me, than helping its constituents in things like this. But that's just my opinion.